Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel where after a very long 2 weeks, 2 weeks too long, we are back finally with a live stream. My internet seems to be working. I think we're finally stable on that front. I'm also getting better in terms of illness. I'm still a little bit off. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. And I might randomly kind of pause the stream while I cough myself to death. But we're finally back live. A lot has happened since we last spoke. Manchester United have gone on that good run of form, beating Burnley in the league after a questionable performance, beating Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup with a brilliant performance, the best performance of the season, and then that dismal performance against Crystal Palace in the Premier League at the weekend. Now we have to preview this game against Galatasaray. So there's a lot to talk about. Like I said, I haven't caught up with you guys for about 2 weeks for different reasons, so get in chat, let me know how you guys are doing, what are your thoughts on United at the moment, how's your day going, what you're thinking about going into the Galatasaray game, and just how are you guys in general. Codename Cheers AJ, good to see you my friend, I hope you're well. Again, it's been too long since we last spoke, but I hope you've had a good couple of weeks my friend. And Ian saying first time here, well welcome to the stream my friend, hope you're well. Saying, I just hope your setup has no Rashford and Hannibal. Well, good. Well, interestingly enough for you, I have a starting 11, but this isn't actually my starting 11. What we're going to talk about is we're going to create an 11 together. So I'm going to give my input, of course, but also you guys are going to be crafting the starting 11. This is just the game the team, which we saw in United's last game. Today, live, we're going to craft a starting 11 to beat this Galatasaray side. So, yeah, should be pretty good. We're going to do polls so you guys can get involved and let me know your thoughts. Should be good fun. Corey saying time to go, my mystic streak continues, hopefully. What is your prediction? First up, what is your prediction going into this game against Galatasaray tonight? Because Corey, for those of you that are new to the chat and the live stream, Corey has a bit of a reputation for being pretty good with his predictions. They're not always necessarily what you want to hear as a Manchester United fan, but he does have a pretty good record. So how are we feeling going into this game? What are our thoughts about the weekend against Crystal Palace? Because again, it's the first time I spoke to you since then. What have you been making of Hannibal Mejbri's performances in the past couple of weeks? Because that's a player which we haven't spoken about live on stream. So again, get in the chat and let me know what you guys are thinking. So if you guys, get in the chat, let me know your thoughts, and then I'm going to bounce off of you guys. We're going to get into some different things. We're going to talk about what Ten Hag can do from a structural point of view going into this game, perhaps a couple of things on how Galatasaray are likely to set up, because I'd imagine most of you haven't watched them before. Maybe talk a little bit about Casemiro and some of the problems he's facing at the moment, and we've got some clips to go through related to that. We can also talk a little bit about Kobe Mainu, because the talk is that he's returning to the team soon. Recently back in training with the first team, so hopefully after the international break we'll see him, so we can talk about that. And of course, the tactical board. We will be using the tactical board to go through a load of different things, but also we can go to SofaScore as well to look at basically whatever we want to look at. Whether it's Galatasaray's recent form, their likely starting 11, things like that. So yeah, Corey predicted 3-1 Brighton, 1-0 United versus Burnley, and 7 goals in the Bayern game. That's an impressive streak. That's a really impressive streak, actually. That's strangely good predictions. Are you putting any money on this? Because it'd be interesting if you are. Whoops, wrong screen. DSM7R saying 3-1 to Manchester United. Are you guys confident going into this game? I would feel like it's borderline must win in terms of the current state of the Champions League group, with the fact that United lost that first game away from home against Bayern. It feels like to go through this group, United probably have to win the home games against Galatasaray and Copenhagen, and then also probably win the away games against those two as well. So it feels must win in that sense, but also just in terms of the vibe of the squad. I believe statistically it's the worst start to a season in 30 years. Was it for United? I think it's the worst start in about 30 years. The squad's in a bad place. There's pressure on the squad. There's pressure on Ten Hag. Should there be? Not too sure. But I feel like it's big. I feel like a win tonight is really needed for United, particularly at Old Trafford after the team was really poor the other day and didn't really do a good job of getting the team behind them. United need a performance, a result, but also a performance here. United need to put on a good show. We're starting 34 years. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, that's a concern. That is not the sort of record which Erik ten Hag wants to have over his head. It's not the record that he was looking for when he first joined the club. Codename saying, should Ten Hag drop both Rashford and Bruno Fernandes? Well, that's actually my question for you guys. You guys have probably seen some of my thoughts in recent videos talking about those two. I want to hear your thoughts because I haven't had the time to go through comments too much recently. So I'm interested to hear kind of what you guys are thinking of those two. Because, you know, there are calls for them to be dropped from the team, etc. I have my view as well, which of course I'll bring to you guys. Without Lisandro Martinez, our transition from defence to midfield was bad. Yeah, against Crystal Palace, that was my big issue. United just didn't really get the ball moving forward. And Corey's saying, where is it? I think it'll be 2-1 either way. Well, Corey, as long as it's in favour of Manchester United, I don't mind it too much. Didn't we break a similar record in the beginning of last season? Honestly, probably. Probably, I can't actually remember, but we seem to break some sort of negative record every single year. Zach saying, I feel like Zaha will do the usual former United player finds a goal against us. He'll definitely be a concern. And if you look at this Galatasaray side, there is some talent in there. And Heleno has caused problems for United before, previously playing for RB Leipzig, scored a goal against United in the Champions League group stage the other year. Demirbay is a good footballer. Torreira used to play for Arsenal. Sanchez, the former Tottenham centre-back. Ziyech, Zaha on the wings, they're going to cause problems. Dries Mertens, Icardi. There's real talent in here. By the way, AJ, it seems Man United are interested in Pedro Neto. How do you rate him? He's a brilliant player. He's a player which I've been speaking about, not on the channel, but like externally from the channel since a couple of years ago now, really. It was a couple of years I kind of tipped him, a couple of years ago, sorry, I tipped him to break through into the Premier League and be a big star. Unfortunately, my big concern with Neto would just be his injury problems. He's become a very injury-prone player, so considering he would cost a lot of money, I certainly wouldn't go anywhere near it in January. Maybe see if he can have a full season uninjured and, you know, stay fit, play 38 games in the Premier League this season, and then maybe look at him next summer. I think Hannibal and Garnacho should come in for Fernandes and Rashford. I feel like that might be quite a commonly shared opinion. So, again, we'll go through and we'll make a starting 11 in just a few minutes. Exposed saying, I no longer feel that we will be great again. Yesterday, New point out that we have badly fallen, and if the owners don't change, we will be a mid-table team. It's a nice positive spirit to the start of the stream today, guys. Just to back that up, Corey saying, I'm not a fan of Ten Hag anymore, and to be honest, I've always thought his in-game adjustments are the worst at this level. I don't think I would go as far as worst. I think this season have been quite poor. But, yeah, his in-game changes at the start of the season have been really odd. Codename replying to that by saying, I think Ten Hag doesn't have much control. Obviously, he wants to reset the team, but the Glazers and management were so bad at doing that and resetting the team. That's the thing I would always say. Rather than firing too much blame and hatred at the manager and even the players, always look higher than that at this football club. I don't think any manager could excel in the current environment. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't think Pep Guardiola would do a good job at United at the moment. I genuinely believe that. Maybe better than Ten Hag. Yeah, you can probably make that argument that he probably would. Maybe Jurgen Klopp would or whoever. But I don't think any manager would really excel in the current environment. Rashford is starting guaranteed. Yeah, I think he'll start. Do you guys agree that this is probably must win? I feel like for me it is. Also, what do you guys think of streaming at this time of day? We don't normally stream on a Tuesday. Normally it's more of a Friday thing. So, does this work for you guys? Let me know. Sure, they play a part, but there are several managers who would be doing better. Yeah, I think other managers maybe would have done a better job so far than Ten Hag. He's not perfect in that sense. But yeah, again, I don't think anyone would particularly excel. Another shocker is Victor Lindelof. He can't even make one progressive pass. I would start Maguire in place of Lindelof. I got a lot of hate for saying that the other day. As I thought I would. I thought I would get hate for saying Maguire should start. But, because, you know, people like to clown him. but Lindelof was absolutely horrific against Crystal Palace at the weekend, but also in the game before that against Burnley, absolutely terrible. I don't think it's just a must-win, but a must-win convincingly, at least just to stop the negative feelings that seem to drop our players' heads. I think that's the most frustrating thing about the Crystal Palace game at the weekend. Having just beat them in the Cup, looking at the fixture list, it looked like United had a spell now where I think before that game, 6 of the next 7 were at home, with the away game being Sheffield United, something like that, don't quote me. It looked like we could really build something over an 8-game streak, build some momentum, get some points on the table. And yeah, that loss the other day just throws it all out the window, basically. A chance to restart tonight, though. Win tonight, try and get on a streak. That is an absolute must for Erik ten Hag. If not, there's genuinely a chance he does start to come under a bit of pressure. I think if United were to lose tonight, there would be real question marks. He made good in-game changes last season, especially with Fred. I think this season, Ten Hag just wants to progress the style without compromising. Yeah, so what we saw last season, and I think that's actually a really good point, is that at the start of the season against Brighton and Brentford last year, when Ten Hag first came into the club, he was quite clearly trying to implement something new, and then basically he realised, oh boy, this squad cannot do it. So he kind of then abandoned it and shuffled away from it. I think this season he's going back to trying to do it and perhaps being a bit more stubborn this time in sticking to it. Apologies if you can hear dogs barking in the background. They'll stop in a second. But I think this year he's being a little bit more stubborn and just trying to stick to his principles, which in a way is the right thing to do in the long term. But in the short term, it might mean that United just take a little bit of a hit. But again, is that the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? Let me know what you think. If you look at Mikel Arteta, for example, at Arsenal, he compromised a little bit in those first 2 seasons, but still had elements of his principles in there. And obviously, 4 or 5 years later, you're really getting the payoff for it. So again, let me know what you think. Not at all. After Fergie, we have 5 managers. All of them undergo similar situation. Yeah, that's why I think it's not just a manager issue. Because for Jose Mourinho, who's a very good manager, to struggle like he did, David Moyes is an okay manager. Louis van Gaal, another good manager. For those people to be struggling and also saying what they've said since they left the club is clearly an issue at the moment. United fans want instant results. That's the problem. United have one of the worst fan bases in the world for that. I believe Ten Hag should be given time to implement his style of play. That's my opinion. Some people will be of the opinion that, no, we're Manchester United. We need something big now. We need that instant impact. But it doesn't really happen. Again, Arteta is a brilliant example of that. The time it takes. Sir Alex Ferguson, back in the day, however many years ago it was now, he didn't hit the ground running. Now, of course, his early days are before my time. But if you go back and look at the early years of Sir Alex Ferguson, it wasn't great. Pep Guardiola didn't set the world alight in his first season with Manchester City. These things do take time. It's hard for a club with high standards, of course, and especially amongst the fans, we really demand a lot. But it takes time in football. It really, really does. Postecoglou is the worst thing that ever happened to Ten Hag during his United run, because he showed you don't need your players to play your style. Yeah, I do agree with that, but I also think, to an extent, Postecoglou has a lot of players which do actually suit his style, but I agree that it's a bad thing for Ten Hag, because people are looking at the comparison and going, well, how come he's doing it so quickly? But, I mean, they dropped points to Brentford. They were 1-0 down against Sheffield United till the 95th minute. They're not perfect either. Ali with the donation, the $9.99, saying, good morning, AJ. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, AJ, and the best community ever. Sorry for missing the previous live shows. Glad for being back. No worries at all, my friend. I've missed a couple as well through illness and lack of internet. Glad for being back and never missed any of your other videos. You're always spot on with all of your analysis. But and as always, I do appreciate that donation. If everyone can get in the chat and say thank you to Ali. If you're new here, Ali is quickly a man which you will become familiar with, because he's an absolute legend. He's always donating, he's always supporting the channel. And for those of you that don't know, every single donation is put towards either a new microphone or a new camera. I'm hoping this is the month we get a new camera. I've been looking at it this morning, and the camera really isn't very good. So we do need a new camera. So yeah, donations like that massively help. So say thank you to Ali in the chat below. Spam some love hearts, guys. Spam some love hearts. I'll answer your questions in a second. Spam some love hearts. If I see love hearts in the chat, we'll move on. I want to see love hearts, guys. Love hearts, love hearts, love hearts. There we go. We're seeing some. There we go. That's better. That's more like it, guys. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Ali. Absolute legend. Thanks, Ali, for helping us see AJ in better quality. I also need help with actually picking out a camera because I know nothing about cameras, but... Anyway, thank you so much for those love hearts, guys, and Ali, of course, for the donation, as always, the absolute legend that you are. Thank you very much. There is so much noise going on out there. I don't think they realise I'm streaming. I can hear them shouting my name. Numpties, eh? AJ, did you see United being linked with Inacio? Brilliant news. Truthfully, I did not. I have not seen that link. He's a very good player, though. Very good left-sided ball-playing defender. Can also play on the right-hand side as well, to be fair, of a back three. My only concern with him at the moment is that so far he's played in a back three, and that always makes me question a defender. It's hard to judge them because it's so different to defending in a back four, but yeah, he's a great player. Great player. Postecoglou will drop once his five-man midfield overload is extensively analysed. Yeah, obviously he's also had a bit of fortune with not really having too many injury troubles at the moment as well, which is always going to help. AJ, do you think that the 3-4-3 diamond could work? That would be interesting to talk about. If you could kind of give me a starting 11, we can then maybe talk about it. So give me an 11 which you'd like to see in that formation. Maybe we can discuss it from there, or maybe we could even do a separate video on it entirely. So absolutely, I like the idea of it. Our problem is that we are confused between the quote United roots and culture and in the modern day game. I completely agree. People also think back to Sir Alex Ferguson and think that it was beautiful possession football. Granted, there was a lot of possession football involved in it. But Sir Alex Ferguson had a lot of quick transitions, particularly that 2007 and 8 side. Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney were really direct on the counter-attack. I think this should be Bruno and Rashi's final season at United, considering their age and value. What sort of price would you be looking for the two of them? What sort of price tag? Let's go into the starting 11, actually, guys, because I've seen a few of you guys just mention Rashford there and about taking him out of the team and calling him Trashford and things like that, or trash fraud even. Wowzers. AJ, can we discuss why without Rashford and Bruno, Man United offence looks much more fluid? Of course, one match doesn't fully justify anything, true. Yep, we will go on to that. I believe that too many egos in the dressing room is stopping Ten Hag from implementing his style. Well, if that is the case, Ten Hag needs to kind of bring the hammer down a little bit. I think he's done a decent job of managing the squad so far, though. Not many players have got away with much. Just look at Sancho and Ronaldo, for example. Do you think there's merit to sometimes swapping Amrabat and Dallow's positions? Well, yeah, when the idea, of Amrabat at fullback kind of first came into my mind, I was always thinking right back with Dallow left back, truthfully. So, yeah, it was kind of my instinct. Also, without Anthony, we are too narrow against low blocks, which is something I didn't notice before. Yeah, I think Facundo Pellistri's kind of struggled to have a massive impact in the last couple of games, leaving United a little bit toothless down the right-hand side. Ten Hag has said, though, that Anthony is available again for selection starting from tonight, so I got a feeling he might play tonight. I got a feeling he might start. I think Rashford is overhated on. Without an overlapping left-back, what's he going to do alone? Yeah, I agree. I think Rashford is overhated. I think there was a stat the other year on the internet that Rashford is the second most tweeted about in a negative view athlete in the world, which is remarkable considering this is a homegrown player from Carrington. It's crazy. Because United's tactic at the moment largely feels like, and Ten Hag's to blame for this as well as the players missing. The tactic for United at the moment is, can we get the ball down the left-hand side to Rashford and can you do something? That's not how you get the best out of attackers realistically. You'd accept about 85 million to 120 million for Bruno. particularly to Atletico Madrid. Rashford 110 to 140 mil, in particular to PSG, if Mbappe goes to Real. Just out of interest, and I'm not saying this like a fire and shots way, were you saying the same thing last season, like in February, after the World Cup, when he was playing really well? Just a genuine question. Rashford can have Mount to overlap, because against Palace, I only seen once Mount overlap for Rashford, and we do look dangerous. Mount can definitely do it in times, but it's probably not optimal, right? It's probably not something you always want to see your midfielder overlapping, because it does then leave this little gap in rest defence in the transition. He can definitely do it at times and can do it on a more regular basis. I think if United were to get Luke Shaw back, I think given time, of course, I think Luke Shaw, Mount and Rashford could have a good little left-hand side there. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm back. Someone has just been shouting up the stairs my name for the last 10 minutes. Not realising I was live, but we're good. We continue. Okay, so sorry for that interruption. Let's figure out the starting 11 for this game, because straight away, for the first time this season, we've actually got a debate in goal, because the talk is that Altay Bayındır, still can't say his name. If someone could teach me, it would be greatly appreciated. But it's talks that he might start tonight. Straight away, what are your thoughts on that? Let's actually take every single United player out of this team, so you guys don't have any subconscious preconceptions here. Let's get rid of all of the United players. Let's go through this position by position and figure it out. What do you guys want as your starting 11? Let's assume Galatasaray will be in a 4-2-3-1. It will probably be something like this with Dries Mertens in the 10. Although it could be this guy, I can do this 1 second. Aktakoglu. There we go. Got there eventually. But yeah, Galatasaray will be lined up something like this. So let's start off with the goalkeeper position. Go through who are you starting in the team. Bear in mind, in terms of how Galatasaray will approach the play out of possession, I think they will try and be quite aggressive in the way that they press. In terms of what I've watched, I've only really seen them against Copenhagen in the first group game. But what we saw in that game is that they were often trying to force the ball over to one side. But then they were pretty aggressive in the way that they pressed. You know, they would shuttle over, they would put a lot of pressure on the ball. So I don't think this is a game where United are going to have it necessarily easy playing out from the back. So who would your goalkeeper of choice be for this game with that in mind? Who would your back four be? Let's go through things. I think we'll start a poll actually for the goalkeeper. Now, for me, I would go with Onana. I think this is such an important game. And I think with the fact in mind that Galatasaray probably come with a bit of aggression and looking to apply pressure, I think I would go with Onana. In fact, truthfully, I hadn't even considered not playing him. Now, obviously, just bear in mind, this wouldn't be Ten Hag dropping Onana. It would be a case of rotation. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think we need to play the first team players in order to build some chemistry and confidence. What do you class as a first team player in this particular side? AJ, how many players in this team can dribble and compare it with other top teams? I'll tell you right now, not very many. Not very many at all. I would have Mount on the wing and Hannibal beside Casemiro. That's certainly definitely an idea. So, I've just been given a bit of pronunciation from Zach. Thank you very much. It's Altay Bayındır. Bayındır? Altay Bayındır. I'll try and remember it. Thank you very much for the help. I'll try and remember it. I think... sorry, I read that. I think it's a mistake dropping Onana. It won't be a good thing for his confidence. Also, Ten Hag will be criticised for dropping his 50 million signing. Yeah, because of the way of things are at United, and the media in particular, you know, hated, adored, never ignored, there definitely will be some sort... You know, you just know that if Onana doesn't play tonight, it will be everywhere. I personally would start Onana. I knew we need a striker in the summer, but only a false 9/deep lying forward would work with Rashford. But they are hard to find. I would have sold Rashford for 150 to 175 million in February. the problem that I have with Rashford is on his day he's so good. It's a case of making sure his day is a far more regular thing than what it is at the moment. We're going to get slapped by Galatasaray. It's inevitable because our players are beyond weak mentally. Yeah. Yo, Man United will lose again. Nice. Okay, so we've got some Team 11s. Team 11 starting 11s coming through from you guys in chat, which is lovely to see. Let me know what your starting 11 would be. So here I'm seeing Onana, Varane, Maguire, Dalot, Amrabat. I agree with that. Mount, Bruno, Casemiro, Højlund. Wingers can be interchanged as per Erik ten Hag's wish. If we can go for it, a 3-5-2, Varane, Lindelof, Dalot, Amrabat, Casemiro, Hannibal, Bruno, Mount, Garnacho, Højlund, Anthony. We've got Onana, Dalot, Varane, Maguire, Amrabat, Casemiro, Hannibal, Mount, Bruno, Garnacho, Rasmus. So that's Rashford dropped. It's not all about Rashford, it's a team. Pick the strongest team. Absolutely spot on. What are your thoughts on Eze replacing or successing Bruno? Keep your eye on it. I mean, Sixers are going for over 100 million and they played for teams like Brighton and West Ham. No disrespect. Good point. Is Ziyech injured? Is that for sure? I know he has missed a couple of league games. I don't know if he's out for this one. Thank you for that information, though. Do appreciate it. So let's just have a little adaptation to their starting 11 like this. All right, Onana's quite comfortably won that poll. I think everyone's in agreement that Onana should start this game. When we do the next poll, get involved if you didn't get involved in that one. Get involved in the poll. Why would you not? Get involved in the poll. I want to hear your thoughts. Play Rashford till the 65th minute and get Garnacho on. So just on that, from what Ali has said there, I actually agree with that idea, and a lot of you guys won't, because we like to react and say that Rashford shouldn't play. The problem that I have with starting Garnacho is we saw in those first 2 games of the season that realistically he isn't ready to start matches at the moment. He's really good against tired legs when he comes on around the 65th minute. Apologies. He's fresh. He has that instant impact against tired legs. We've seen that from the start of games, he's not really so good. So I personally think I would still start Rashford. It's also a shame that United didn't get a, quote, easier run in the Carabao Cup, so there could have been more rotation there as well, rather than 2 Premier League teams. One day we talk about how crucial Hannibal is for the team, but then he is dropped by the manager. I just wouldn't play Mount and Bruno together again, ever. It just doesn't work. Interesting thoughts on that. I agree with the Hannibal point. I would like to see him come back into the side, or certainly given some minutes again tonight. On the Mount and Bruno aspect, I thought Mount actually played really well the other day. I thought Mount was the best player. Does Sancho being available change anything about tactical possibilities here? In a sense, yeah, because obviously Sancho is a completely different profile of winger. But he is still one, like Rashford, who wants to come inside, obviously in a different way. But he still needs runners around him, so... Garnacho scored first when he last started. Yeah, sorry, I'm talking more about those first 2 games of the season. I'm not saying he should never start a game. Don't get me wrong. Garnacho is a wonderful talent. I think I would probably go for Rashford still. I'm not sure, though. The problem is CDM. Unless we play Dan Gore against a high press Galatasaray, we might have issues. I wish there was a way to get Amrabat in midfield for this game. Because, like I've said a few times, he's not exactly press resistant, right? Don't get me wrong, he's not Frenkie de Jong or Bernardo Silva. But he's more press resistant and more aware than what Casemiro is. We'll come on to that in a second, though, in midfield. Let's first build our back 4. Who would your back 4 be? I'm going to put... If I can find him, I've got so many players up here, it's ridiculous. Where's the man I'm looking for? 1 second, guys. We're going to put Dalot in the team, although we can pick what side he plays. I want Dalot in the team, and I want Rafael Varane in the team. Pick the other defenders for me. Rashford should learn to pass, because that's the only default he has. Dalot, Evans, Varane, Lindelof. The question is, do we have a fit left back? The answer is no. The options at left back, realistically, are Dalot, Amrabat, maybe Victor Lindelof. Maybe. So Ali saying about Lindelof on the right-hand side, Dalot on the left-hand side, Varane and Maguire at centre-back. Yeah, I quite like the idea of that. You're saying I should bring Tete in for the right wing? Could you tell me what number he is, please, my friend? You could tell me Tete's number. I'll put him in the side here. Hang on, things are just lagging a little bit. Oh, that's not lagging. I'm typing it in the wrong part, aren't I? 1 second. Gee, oh my days. There we go, got there eventually. Ziyech would start actually over Tete, yeah, but I believe he's injured, right? Is what I've been told here. Let's get one thing clear. I'm not a Galatasaray expert, right? I can see all of you telling me in chat what their start level should be. Word it in a nice way, and I'll listen to what you're saying, alright? It's pretty simple. If you word it in a nice way, I will change this to what you think the Galatasaray side will be, okay? Quite a simple concept. Thank you very much for those of you that are talking politely. Ali, yeah, don't worry. I knew what you meant, my friend. That's why I read it how I did. I knew what you meant, don't worry. Who would you guys go for centre-back then, alongside Raphael Varane? Let me start a poll. We got Lindelof, Evans, and Harry Maguire. Just so you're aware, I would go with Harry Maguire. But I know people will disagree with that because everyone loves to hate him. But I would go with Harry Maguire in this particular one. But let me just set up a poll here for you guys. I punched my mic. I do apologise. That's why I need a new one, you see, because I'm always boxing it. Is Reguilon still injured? I believe so until after the international break. Chad is in the chat. How are you, Chad? Good to see you, my friend. Can't wait to see some of your comments today. Saying Harold. That's a very straightforward, simple answer for you. Where's the punchline? Come on, Chad. You got a reputation here, Chad. Evans can pass better than Varane or Maguire. I think he can pass better than Raphael Varane. I don't think he can pass better than Maguire. The problem right now is Dalot able to retain Zaha. I completely get your point. The problem is, if he isn't, we don't really have another choice anyway. I'm just trying to adapt this Galatasaray 11 as you guys are telling me in chat who you think will play. What's his number, please? Serkan, if you could tell me, please. Maguire is left centre-back. I can't handle Lindelof's sideways ball no more. We need some progression with his carrying and passing. So, this is what I quickly want to talk about. Because what I've seen a lot of people saying, and obviously you guys have spoke about it as well, is that when United played in the Carabao Cup last week, of course against Crystal Palace, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford did not play. And in that game, United were fantastic. They then played at the weekend against Crystal Palace, and United were terrible. So Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford are clearly the problem, is kind of the conclusion or the idea some people are running with, which is fair enough. But what I would say at the same time is look at the progressiveness, or the progression, is probably an actual word. Look at the progression of the United defenders in the Carabao Cup game compared to the Premier League game. For me, that was the real difference maker. It wasn't the forwards so much. Yes, Garnacho played a better game than what Rashford did, and arguably Hannibal over Bruno Fernandes as well in those particular games. But I think what's important is you've got to consider the environment they're in, the players around them, and also the amount of the ball that they're getting. In that game, at the weekend, the United forwards got the ball, but not with sustained pressure. If you watch Manchester City, their wingers get the ball time and time again. It's the same in the midfield, because they're able to sustain pressure by progressing the ball forward. Because United didn't progress the ball forward at the weekend, Bruno Fernandes wasn't able to regularly pick himself in spaces. He wasn't able to do that. Marcus Rashford wasn't able to isolate his man. Instead, because the ball's kind of getting shoveled and shunted forward into wide areas 9 times out of 10 rather than anywhere in the middle, it's quite easy for Crystal Palace in that game to then kind of crowd over. So it's not just about the forwards. Just because a team attacks badly in one game and good in another game, it's not as simple as looking at the forwards in both teams and saying that was the problem, because there was massive problems in terms of deep progression. Massive problems. The big battle will be in the middle of the field, as it so often is, and Ten Hag will regret not including Hannibal in this confrontation. Remember my comment. I will remember your comment. I'm going to write your name down right now, because if Hannibal starts and plays well, I'll give you a shout out in the video tomorrow. I need to do shout outs for the Just Giving donations as well still. Thank you for the reminder. You said Hannibal. There you go. I've written your name down with Hannibal, so we'll see. I don't think the 3-1-6 works, especially in this team, at least right now. I think it still has a lot of potential to work. I just think things like spacing and timing of movements are wrong. But also, yeah, I'd be a bit more conservative and more of a 3-2-5 at the moment, just to almost keep things a little bit more basic. So let's end the poll there. Harry Maguire has won the poll, which is good to see. I like to see that you guys have got good ball knowledge. For those of you that didn't get involved in the poll, what are you playing at? Get involved in the poll. Less than half the people got involved in that. Let's get some more people involved in the poll. So are we going to go for Amrabat at left back, or are we going to go for Victor Lindelof? You guys can have your say. Should we do another poll? Let's do another poll. This is your chance to redeem yourself, guys, because in that last poll, I did not see enough votes. So we're going to do another poll, and I want to hit minimum of 50 votes here, okay? Also, while you're here, normally someone says it in chat, but they haven't yet, so I'm going to say it. Leave a like. It's completely free. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Again, it's completely free. Turn notifications on so you know when I'm live or when I'm publishing videos. Again, it's completely free, so why not do it? Ali saying we need energetic midfielders like Amrabat, Hannibal and Mount, with Bruno on the right wing, if not Anthony starting. Codename saying like the goddamn button though, guys. So true. So true. So true. Excellent point. Where is the Dallo option? Oh yeah, we've already got Dallo at right back. Have we got anyone else for right back we could do if not? Yeah, it is good to see Kobe Mainu back in training. You're not wrong. Hopefully after the international break he can come back and do well. I will talk a little bit about him in this stream. I just saw someone called PS, by the way, saying, liquidate the whole club. That's our only chance of getting better. Just seen that comment. If I do miss anyone's comments, I do apologise. There's quite a lot of you talking at the moment. There's 120 people watching this. So if I miss a chat or a comment here and there, I do apologise. If you want to guarantee that I see your message, you can use a super chat. It guarantees that I see what you're saying, but also the money goes towards a new microphone or camera, which would be greatly appreciated. But of course, don't feel that you have to. Good to see you, Ian. Finally caught the stream. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're well. Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. My fault because I haven't been here, but yeah, I hope you're well, my friend. Do you think Amrabat takes an interest in Greek yogurt and politics? Not sure about the politics, but I reckon he likes a good Greek yogurt, yeah. I reckon so. I argued with someone who said Mainu was too slow to succeed, and I just said examples of slow but high OQ 6s. If they think he's too slow to succeed, they're probably not worth the time of talking to him from a football perspective. They might be lovely people, of course, still. So Lindelof has won the poll. He hasn't yet. We've only got 42 votes. Vote. Amrabat has your approval. Good to see, Chad. I'm glad he's kind of won you over there. Yeah, vote in poll, like Franco said. Vote in the poll, guys. We need some votes, then we can move on. While I'm waiting, we're going to talk a little bit about this fella on screen here, because, of course, the next problem to address is going to be the midfield. We've nearly built our back four. If you guys would vote, we can finish the back four right now. But, of course, once we've finished our back four, we need to build a midfield. And this man is struggling. He's struggling. I called it before the season started, but people got on my back and said, nah, he's experienced. He's such a good player. And he is. He is a good player. But he is detrimental at times to what United are doing. Of course, I know he scored, was it a brace against Bayern? In the end, he's got however many goals and assists already. But he is struggling. And for me, it's in possession he's struggling as well. We talk about out of possession, kind of not having the legs almost to keep up. I'm really worried about on the ball what he's doing. So let's take a quick look at it. Because I thought in his Crystal Palace game, at the weekend, the league game, He looked really bad. I thought he looked really poor. What did you guys think of his performance? Just quickly let me know. AJ, do you think Amrabat and Ten Hag during the match will discuss about shampoos though? Yeah, that and Greek yogurt. That will be their top. That's what will be. I think that's probably what they'll talk about in the change room before the game. I think that will be the main focus. Barrow Cardi's in the chat, guys. Let's go. Saying hello, guys. Are you ready for the match? Born ready. He was great in the cup game, so I don't want to give up on him. Yeah, absolutely. I agree in not giving up on him. I don't think we should give up on any United player. But he does have a problem, right? And this is the problem I have with him. Okay, so it's scanning. It's something which I go on about quite a lot. If you watch mainstream media talk about football and analyse games, pardon me, I do apologise. If you watch mainstream coverage of football, one thing they don't often talk about is scanning and being aware of your surroundings. They'll often talk about, players do this pass well, they do this dribble well, blah, 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 blah. It's quite basic. But actually, a lot of the work that you do with the ball at your feet is done actually in that 3 seconds before you receive the ball. Because it's in that time where if you scan what's around you, you can really paint a picture of the whole pitch. You know where your teammates are, so you've got a rough idea of your next pass. You know where the opposition are, so you know where pressure might come from, where you need to avoid going with your next pass. But also, it allows you to figure out how much space you've got, set up your touch, and play forward. So, the 3 seconds before you receive the ball, or not even 3 seconds, it's probably 1.5 seconds. The 1.5 seconds before you receive the ball is almost important as your first touch, in my opinion, in midfielders in particular. I think it's one of the most important things in football. Scanning, being aware of your surroundings. And it's something which isn't spoken about enough. And Codename has said it there. Casemiro, sometimes lack of scanning and gets tackled easily is really frustrating. And I completely agree. Now, in my video covering the United Palace game, which Palace, of course, won 1-0, I said Casemiro was to blame for the goal. And people were like, how's he to blame for the goal? It was a set piece which he didn't really he didn't do anything wrong. How is he to blame? This is the build-up to Crystal Palace winning that set piece. This is the 23rd minute and the 46th second. You guys might be able to see that top left. It might be hidden. But this is United trying to play their way out from the back. Palace have just attacked. United win the ball. And Mason Mount carries the ball forward. He does a good job. He kind of carries the ball to the left-hand side a little bit like this. He carries the ball over towards this way. What he's then going to do, if my laptop will catch up, 1 second. 1 second. Hello. This is a bit awkward, isn't it? So he passes the ball wide to Marcus Rashford. Now, we can see Casemiro in this position here. If I just kind of circle around him with my mouse. Okay. I think my laptop's having some tripping issues here, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me try to sort this out. Just give us 1 second. Let's see if we can sort this out. I'll come back to this in just 1 second if it works. Okay, we might be alright. If this doesn't work now, we're just going to ditch it and we'll come on to it another day. But the ball goes wide to Marcus Rashford. We've got Casemiro in this position here in quite a healthy bit of space. And this is actually good play out from the back from United. United actually do quite well here. The ball goes wide to Marcus Rashford, who's going to take a touch and then he's going to play the ball inside to Casemiro. And it's not working. This feels typical. I think we're going to ditch this. We'll come back to this another time. It's just not working. It's lagging the whole stream out. I think we're lagging a lot here. Am I back? We're going to ditch that and we'll come back to that another day. But anyway, basically, what happens in that move is Casemiro doesn't want scan around him. And it means that he gets tackled from behind really easily. And then Crystal Palace win the ball back. Attack, win the set piece, scored a goal. It happens later in the game. Casemiro again receives the ball on the edge of his box, doesn't scan, isn't at all aware of what is around him, gets tackled, loses the ball. There's then another situation where United are attacking and moving the ball forward. Mason Mount dribbles inside from the left-hand side, plays the ball into the feet of Casemiro. He doesn't scan. He has a very good forward pass on. It's available to him. If he gets it set up and moves forward, he doesn't see it and instead passes backwards. Now, it's not like me to criticise Casemiro for passing backwards because he needs to do it more. But it's about his scanning. I'm gutted we can't go through those clips right now, but my laptop just isn't hacking it. I will try one more time because I do really want to cover this. Come on, please work. Please work. Cross your fingers, guys. Ooh. We might be working. We might be working. So Rashford plays the ball inside Casemiro, and we can see this Crystal Palace player behind him, looking to apply pressure. Now, if you look at Casemiro, he's very square on with Marcus Rashford. Now, a more aware player would get the ball out of his feet and kind of play forward from there. But he doesn't. He's completely unaware, right? Again, this is lagging massively. He gets caught out. I can't prove my point. I want to prove my point here. Basically, you can see there, this might be a bit laggy. You can see there, he doesn't scan, he loses the ball. United eventually, the ball eventually goes wide, and they lose the ball. We're going to give up on that. But you got the idea there, hopefully. Let me just close that entirely. I do apologise for that. Laptop is a paid actor, literally. I might not pay it from now on. That is typical. That's actually one of the main points I want to focus on today's stream. Maybe we'll cover it in a video at some point. Need a new MacBook, mate? Yeah. Donate, and maybe I will. That was actually one of the main things I wanted to cover, so I'm a little bit annoyed about that. But yeah, basically the point was that Casemiro wasn't really checking his shoulder very well. And as a result, he kept getting robbed. He kept losing the ball in really dangerous areas. I'm annoyed we can't talk about that, but hey-ho, we move on. Our vote, by the way, at the moment for our left-back is 50-50. 50%, 50%, 36 votes for Lindelof, 36 votes for Amrabat. So if you haven't voted, vote, vote, vote. Because the next vote probably decides it. I'll give it 10 seconds. No, I'll give it 30 seconds, alright? I'm going to count to 30 in my head. And then I'll close it. You wish Sancho would give 110% like that laptop. This laptop at the moment, I can't tell if it's working at 110% or about just 10%. It's quite difficult to tell. Okay, I'm going to close the poll in 10 seconds. Okay, time up. Lindelof has edged the poll. Did someone change their vote there? We didn't get an extra vote. Someone changed their vote there. I'm on to you guys. Anyway, Galatasaray may adopt a different formation, but they often use a compact defence and look to exploit the wings by organised defending, quick transitions, and wingers deliver dangerous crosses. I think they're going to be a massive threat on transition stage just because of their pure quality in the attack. In terms of their more sustained attacks, perhaps if you watch them more than me, you might disagree, but from what I saw in that Copenhagen game, is that they were often building in like a 2-4 shape in deeper areas, then sort of this 3 behind Icardi as the striker, but this 3 was quite varying in the width. So at times they're all over one side like this, really quite narrow. Then another time they'll be much wider, then they'll be more compact. So I think this is the area where United will need to do a lot of work. I think United will need to do a lot of work in there. The poll adds up to 99%. What a fix. It does, you're not wrong. Yeah. Galatasaray gives away a lot of chances like Brighton, but that's the other thing. Ultimately, they did go 2-0 down to Copenhagen in that first game. So I think United should be able to win this game. I think once we've got our starting 11 figured out. So we've got Lindelof in the defence now. So we need to quickly build a midfield, guys. If you guys can help me in the chat, let's build a midfield. I'm assuming most of you are going to say Amrabat. We'll go for a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. It's funny because Van Gaal was looking to play the football we're looking to play now. Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Yeah, okay, I can't seem to win at the moment because earlier I had Actoroglu in the team. Actoroglu, sorry, in the team. And you guys told me I shouldn't have him in the team. So, not sure what position to put him in. Sorry, Chad has just said one of my favourite comments I've ever seen. AJ, if you ever release your own merch, I would wear an entire AJ analysis outfit to my wedding. If I get an invite, I'll pay for the outfit, okay? Because I thought Actacoglu was one of their most important players, but then you guys told me that he wouldn't play, so I'm not sure. Traditionally, Man United has favoured a formation like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. They often look to control possession, play out from the back, and use quick, incisive passing to break down opponents. Nice little insight there. Lovely. Amrabat, Mount, Bruno, and Hannibal. So you going for a diamond, or are you playing one of those players on the wing? Let's get some players into the picture here. So we got Amrabat, we got Bruno Fernandes, we got McTominay. You guys might want to play him. Got Mason Mount. We got Christian Eriksen. We got Hannibal. We got Casemiro. Let's try and build a midfield out of that. Your only problem with Amrabat in midfield is that he's poor at winning headers. Yeah, I understand that. Hopefully, that's why I'd quite like to see Maguire in the side as well, for that extra height. Yeah, I'm aware Galatasaray have 12 players. We were trying to pick between the two. Icardi's as good as two men anyway, right? Yeah? No? Okay. Yeah, I know I've got too many players, mate. We're having a discussion about who should play. Diamond and play right through their midfield. Their strongest players are on the wing. True, the problem with that would be from a defensive point of view. If you play a diamond, is that you can then leave these gaps open in wider areas. Angelino and Bowie do like to get forward, so that could be a problem. We'll get our starting 11 together, then we'll figure it out from there. So, yeah, let me know the midfielders should be starting here. Mario Icardi, please fund the new laptop. AJ, do you think Sancho at Barcelona? Xavi is reportedly a huge fanboy of Sancho. Now, that'd be really interesting, because on their left-hand side, with Balde flying forward from left-back, he could actually have a similar sort of relationship to what he had with Hakimi, so that would actually be quite interesting. I'm just going to be back 1 second. I can hear my dog growling at something, so I just want to quickly check. So give me like 20 seconds and I'll be right back. So 1 second, guys. I'm back. Hey, Ibrahim, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. He says hello, AJ, when he leaves. AJ should just adopt the Ten Hag approach with Sancho. I do not speak about unavailable players. It's a really good idea, to be fair. It's not a bad shout. I've done it in a sense with Greenwood last year, to be fair, so. Guys, we need a midfield. What can we construct here? Let's just try and cook something up. What do we need? What do we want from our midfield performance? Okay, I'm going to help you guys out here. What do we need from our midfield in this game? For me, we need an intensity. I think Ten Hag needs to try and get this Old Trafford crowd behind him, right? I also think that Mason Mount was one of the best players on the pitch the other day. So personally, I would play Mason Mount. I would also play Amrabat. I think his control and temperament is needed. Whether that is left back or midfield, I think he's needed. So we need another midfielder. So let's put the options up here. We've got Hannibal, we've got Bruno Fernandes, we've got Eriksen, Casemiro, and McTominay. Now, one option would be to go like this. Bruno Fernandes in next to Mason Mount and Sofian Amrabat. That works. You could also put Bruno Fernandes on the right wing. Bring Casemiro into the side. Do we like the idea of that? Amrabat, Mount and Eriksen. Mix of technical quality and energy. Yeah, obviously Eriksen been out of the team for a couple of games now, so it would be interesting, or it's interesting to see when he's going to come back in. Paps saying he feels like Anthony might play. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if he'll start, but I think we'll see him get minutes. Amrabat, Bruno, Casemiro with Mount right wing. Yeah, that's probably what I would be leaning towards. So just to kind of put that on screen real quick, what that would look like. There's certainly potential with that team. Let's say we then saw Dalot pushing as a bit more of a high right back with Dalot coming with Mason Mount coming inside. Varane, Maguire, and Lindelof form a back three. In possession, this of course. That could kind of work. Let's say we then put, for example, Marcus Rashford on the left wing and go Rasmus Højlund up front. Do we start to like the look of that team a little bit more? Anthony's pressing is important for Ten Hag. Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons so much money was spent on him, because tactically he provides a lot of width for the side, but also does work hard out with possession, particularly kind of like on the front foot with his high pressing. You're exactly right. Casemiro for 60 minutes, then sub him for Hannibal so he can hurt them in the last 30 minutes. Yeah, it's obviously always difficult to kind of predict subs before the game starts because you don't know what the game state is going to be. You might be 2-0 down by them, for example, or you might be 3-0 up, so obviously it's quite hard to predict. But yeah, I like the idea of it on paper. Bro, where is Lisandro Martinez? Injured. Having surgery. We have the €1 donation. Unfortunately, I don't know how to read your name. I do apologise. But thank you very much for the donation. If everyone could say thank you in the chat, spam some love hearts. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope you are enjoying the stream. And yeah, thank you very much. Kevin Prince Boateng apparently believes Ten Hag is not making the right decisions and is not at the level to manage United. I find it really weird the amount of ex-pros talking about Ten Hag. It's really odd. Stelios Dukas, by the way. Thank you very much. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong. Stelios. Thank you very much, Stelios. I do appreciate that donation, the €1. Thank you very much, my friend. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. What was I going to say there? What was I going to say? Yeah, sorry. All the ex-players and stuff talking about Ten Hag. Even Zlatan Ibrahimovic is like, who is this guy? I don't know this guy. He's a youthful coach? Is he good enough to be Manchester United manager? I don't get it. Why is everyone got an opinion on Ten Hag at the moment? It's really odd. It's weird. I've lost interest on this team. On your view, which one to blame? Player or Ten Hag tactic? The Glazers. Just trying to. This shape works perfectly on paper, but what we saw is everyone pushing high instead of a double pivot last game. I doubt tactically Ten Hag would make many tactical changes. So yeah, of course, talking about a formation or a structure on paper is one thing. Seeing it in play is very different, and obviously it doesn't always play out the way you would want. I would hope though that by playing Amrabat actually naturally as starting as a midfielder, starting in this midfield spot, he can be the connection point, because we saw him inverting more in the Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace, and he was that connection point. The league game, he wasn't able to do so quite as much because United didn't play very well, and suddenly United lost that connection point. I think what we also need to see, though, is whoever this line of players is behind the striker, whether it's Fernandes, Mount, Hannibal, Facundo Pellistri, Marcus Rashford, whoever it is in these areas, they have to do a far better job of not always just kind of bogging off up top. They need to do a better job of dropping deeper and getting on the ball and linking things. There has to be a better job of doing that. We're seeing far too much of a disconnect in certain games this season. We see one or two games where the spacing's quite nice, and then in the next one, we go back to seeing this, and the gaps are just massive between the lines, and it's really difficult to progress the ball, combined with Lindelof not being very good at doing it anyway. United do have that problem. These players like Mount and Fernandes Fernandes in particular, probably from the weekend, needs to do a better job. Is Kobe Mino available? Not for this one, I do not believe. I think it'll probably be after the international break we see him. If that is the case, I will do a video on it. The players should stop being static. Yeah, I agree. I agree. In many ways, I don't think the system matters if the players just lose their heads and fail to progress the ball 4 times in a row, lose possession 4 times in a row. Yeah, I agree to an extent. I think, obviously, the system is still important, but yeah, if players aren't going to execute instructions anyway, the instructions almost don't matter. So yeah, I completely agree with that. I think Ten Hag needs to provide better tactical solutions, but I also think the top players, to an extent, figure things out themselves and solve problems themselves on the football pitch, and I think United need to start doing that more. Amrabat having to start at left back, we have no one overlapping for Rashford. Yeah, that's been a real problem, if you ask me. By the way, even with Man United improves on crossing, they're crossing often to nowhere near anyone in the box. Yeah, let me see. If you give me 1 second, I'll see if I can find the stat for that, which I had. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to try and find a stat, because it was United's successful crosses in the league game against Crystal Palace the other day. Because obviously in Rasmus Højlund, you've got a good central figure. Someone that you can aim for. Someone who's got good movement, good box presence. He can sniff out a chance. But United aren't finding him crosses into the box. So let me... Again, just give me 1 second. My laptop has been so slow today. It's unbelievable. I think ex-pros don't like how Ten Hag dealt with Sancho, which I didn't feel was the right way either. Yeah, obviously it's hard for us to say that from the outside looking in, just because no idea what the situation is kind of behind closed doors. Let me find this cross stat, then I'll get it on screen for you guys. Okay, I found it. 1 second. Is this going to work? Here we go, guys. Look at that. Where is it? In the middle there. 4 out of 33 crosses. Cross success rate of 12%. Ish. Now, you do have to be careful when you look at crossing stats, because a cross is only classed as a successful cross if literally your team makes first contact, which isn't necessarily accurate. You could put a ball into a really good area. If no one gets on it, it's classed as a bad cross. But in general, 4 out of 33 in terms of the crossing numbers, not really what United need. They've got to do a better job of actually just putting a good delivery into the box. I think it's a way in which Luke Shaw is massively missed at the moment. An aspect of his game is he is such a good crosser of the ball in the final third. Reguilon as well is a pretty good crosser. United badly need that back in this side. Badly, badly, badly. AJ, why do we never have a tactical reply when our good football dies after 20 minutes? Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's concerning though, for sure. I think it's a real problem, because I think the Brighton game was probably the kind of the worst we've seen it, where Brighton adapted after 20 minutes and kind of found United out a little bit. That game, United didn't have a response. Again, what I'm personally doing, right, and I am a massive, massive Manchester United fan, right? I set high standards for this club. For now, whilst there's a lot of injuries, I'm almost giving Ten Hag a bit of leeway, because it's quite difficult. If we go back to the Brighton game, for example, it's quite difficult to make a tactical impact from the bench when you've got so few options, because so many players are unfit or lacking sharpness. I think maybe after the international break, when more players are back, and more importantly, the likes of Mason Mount have played more minutes, Amrabat has played with the side more, things like that, then I think we can question it a bit more. I do apologise. But yeah, then I think we can look at it a bit more and really question, is Ten Hag doing enough to impact the game during the match with his changes? When are our left-backs back? Well, I believe Luke Shaw's a couple of months away still, which is obviously a massive problem. But I believe Reguilon is meant to be after the international break, I think. Hi from Istanbul. Hi from England. I hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're having a good day. What time is it in Istanbul right now? Good to see you, though, Arif. Hope you're well. Total Football saying the injuries are a massive issue for our form. Exactly. Yeah, Chad supports the Greek national team because of the Greek yogurt, obviously. A 4:05 in Istanbul. It's only 2 hours out from what we are here. Lovely stuff. Hope you're enjoying the stream. If Altay plays in goal, I will sell my house and bet on Galatasaray. Wowzers. Mustafa saying, if Lindelof is our left back, then my midfield is Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount / Hannibal. If Amrabat starts as left back, then it's Casemiro, Mount, Hannibal. One way or the other, Casemiro, Amrabat, and Mount need to play more games. Okay. The problem in the Palace game was Man United did most of the thing correct, is where the frustrating thing occur. I just fear that we end up sacking Ten Hag and end up with Potter or Lopetegui, however you say his name. I do apologise. Yeah, don't sack Ten Hag, please. Please do not sack him. Let me just go off and read back through some of these comments. We don't have changes after 20 minutes because our players can't even execute normal tactics properly without seeming confused. Forget about changes. It's a fair point. I don't know if you guys... Did I upload that video this morning talking about where I kind of mentioned, could Ten Hag simplify things a little bit? Was that this morning? I think it was. It's definitely something I've wondered about, because I don't know, I don't know if the players just don't understand certain tactical instructions in terms of understanding certain movements and things. We have a super chat. Everyone say thank you in the chat below. What currency is that? Thank you very much for the donation. Thank you very much. If you guys could spam love hearts, could someone let me know what currency that is? Thank you very much for the donation, saying, with defensive injuries, wingers can't stretch defence and the strikers are not firing. Would it not make more sense going 3-5-2 for the time being? Great show, AJ. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the donation. I do greatly appreciate that. It's very kind of you, sir. If everyone could spam love hearts in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Would it not make more sense going for a 3-5-2 for the time being? Let's quickly figure it out. Let's have a look, because I like the idea. I love new suggestions of what United could do. So let me try and figure out a quick 3-5-2. So let's call this our back three. Let's go for Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, and Rasmus Højlund front two. Did I say that wrong? Front two, either way. Maybe Amrabat, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes in midfield. Could we get Dallo at wing back? Maybe if we can do Pelistri at wing back. Something like this could be quite an interesting system. Thai Batsu to Thailand. Tuning in from Bangkok. Lovely stuff. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that donation. I think that's the first ever donation we have had from Thailand. So thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. I hope you're well. Again, guys, keep spamming the love hearts because I do greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let me know who you would play as the two kind of wide players in this system. I'm interested to see that. Total Football saying, I love Rashford, but I feel like he struggles when it comes to football IQ. Yeah, I agree. Like the coaching team are clearly giving him instructions, but maybe he just struggles to implement them. Yeah, this is also a thing. I'm not saying just with Rashford here, but footballers in general. Some footballers, it's not a case of like they don't listen to their managers. Again, I'm not talking about Rashford here. This is a general sweeping statement. But some just aren't that tactically intelligent and do struggle to take on information and kind of understand different ways of playing. That is absolutely a thing that you see some footballers suffering with. Other footballers get it straight away. They kind of really understand the game. You can give them almost any instruction and they'll execute it. A bit like most of the Brighton players. Some players, though, do just struggle with tactical instruction. They struggle to understand what different things mean, or they struggle with different angles or different ways they're asked to play on the football pitch. That is absolutely a thing which we see. And I think Rashford is a player who doesn't always have great football IQ in terms of the decisions he makes in the biggest moments. Is he going to find the right pass when it really matters? A lot of the time, it seems like he isn't going to. If Bruno and Rashford don't find form, Ten Hag will be sacked. Yeah, I mean, I would argue you could make the same point about City, though, right? Like, if Rodri and Haaland were in bad form and they lost a load of games, the manager would get sacked. So I get what you're saying. This is why I always found the sheer hatred for Pogba being a defensive liability a bit off. Like, a man is allowed to just not be good at a thing. Yeah, it's obviously when a footballer's paid a lot of money and, you know, a football club especially spends a lot on them and then gives them that big wage, we expect them just to be perfect. Of course, you expect players to work on things. Rashford should be working on his intelligence, on his decision making in big moments. No different to how Pogba should have worked on the defensive side of his game. But I think it's what people forget. These are all humans. You know, they're all humans at the end of the day. They do have things which they aren't as good at. That just is how people work. But again, we're entitled as football fans because clubs spend big money, players get big wages. We seem to have this sense of entitlement that they should be perfect from a footballing point of view. And again, it's just not the case in a lot of players. VK saying Martial and Højlund probably a more potent pairing in this 3-5-2 system. Yeah, who would you play as the wide two in this system? Sorry if you've already replied, but I can't see it anyway. I think players like Rashford, Bruno and Casemiro, they're kind of the old guard of the team, and they're usually the quickest to try to do it all themselves when things aren't working out. I think this is a big problem, yeah. Apologies for the break, just reading for you through a few things. Look at Rashford, then Matoma is just smarter. Yeah, I mean, he studied at university, right? It seems worse at United. It seems like Ten Hag can't find solutions to cover for missing personnel at times. Again, obviously, when you're without so many, it's always going to be difficult. AJ, if I remember early days, you show video replay on analysis. Can you do that again? I can't show video replays. I recently had a video copyrighted and completely taken down for showing like a 2-second clip. That got copyright striked and taken down. It was a video talking about the England team. So I can't do clips. I can here and there show pictures, but today the thing just wasn't working. But we can definitely do that in the future. Who do you think we need to replace more next summer? Bruno, Varane or Casemiro? That's a question for chat to answer. I'm genuinely not sure at the moment. That's a question for chat to answer. Why doesn't Ten Hag do what Tuchel did at Chelsea, go to a 5-2-3? I think it could work. Again, give me the 11 you'd like to see in that shape and we can try discuss it, try figure it out. At the Palace game, I didn't see a team sticking to Ten Hag's plan, but a team that was taking speculative shots from range and panicking. That's something we really see from United, and I mention it quite a lot, is players kind of going back to old bad habits when things go wrong. In that second half against Crystal Palace, I can't remember exactly what the starting 11 or what the 11 was at the time. Sorry, it was what? It was something. It looked something like this. We're missing a player though. Who's the other player in this game? Who am I missing here? Oh, it's Facundo Plestra on the right hand side, wasn't it? As the game went on, and United, particularly in the second half, obviously you're 1-0 down, you're kind of looking for a goal, you're chasing the match a little bit. United just went into this habit of, let's get the ball in a fairly deepish position, and let's just, like, dink it is probably the best word, kind of loft it up towards the front line, but there's nothing really put on the pass. It's not really fizzed into the feet for someone to control. It's not up towards the head, which you can maybe flick on for someone else. It's not a pass in behind, which you can really spin onto. It was just loads of these passes just kind of lifted towards this area. The Crystal Palace defenders were eating them up all day long, just knocking them back where they came from. And it just felt like the plan was, let's get on the second ball and hope for the best. And I just feel like that can't have been tactical instruction from Ten Hag. It might have been, but if it is, it's concerning. But I feel like it's probably more the players kind of going back to old habits when things aren't going well. Varane IMO, we have young midfielders coming through and defenders being out has been killing us recently. I questioned in the summer if we needed to be brutal with Varane and not rely on him as first choice. Worried I was right. I had the exact same opinion. I got crucified for it. I think Varane is a wonderful footballer and is going to be one of United's most important players this season. But there will come a time where you will need to get someone who's better on the ball. You just got to make sure that that player is also very good defensively, because Raphael Varane is at the end of the day. I know he still needs replacing, but Varane is probably still our best defender. Yeah, I actually defensively, box defense and leadership qualities and experience, I think Varane is the most intelligent defender in the United squad by a distance. It's just a shame he isn't as good on the ball, and it's about finding that balance. Onana, Reguilon, Lindelof, Maguire, Varane, Dalot, Amrabat, Casemiro, Martial, Højlund, Mason Mount. I like it personally. Was that for your 5-3-2 or was it 5-2-3 shape? Let me just find your comment from earlier. 5-2-3. So you play Martial a little bit wider, does that mean then? Haven't seen that for a while. Everton's Jared Branthwaite is one of the names on Manchester United's radar in the winter transfer window. If true, I'm interested by that because he's also on my radar. He's one of the players I am scouting at the moment. So it would be interesting to see. Why has Bruno's output declined so much compared to Ollie's time at the club? Honestly, a great question. It's probably something we'd have to research. Chad saying, always a fun time watching your streams, AJ. Gonna go initiate a hostile takeover of my local Greg's. See you next stream. Well, maybe go to Greg's, but avoid the takeover thing. But thank you for tuning in to stream. I've enjoyed your input as always, my friend. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be streaming hopefully later in the week, so hopefully I'll see you there. A young talent, pacey and physical. Oh, chat's moving quick here. A young talent, pacey and physical. From what I remember, Branthwaite would be a great buy depending on the price. I believe that his contract situation isn't ideal from Everton's point of view either. So he also might be available on a bit of a cheaper deal. But yeah, I'm definitely keeping my eye on him because he's a good player. What do I think about Pedro Neto? I think he's a great player. My concern there is injury problems. I think before United could even consider buying him, he's got to go sometime fit and available. Dark saying a 3-4-3 diamond with Onana in goal, Lindelof, Maguire, Varane. Then we got Dalot, Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, Mount. Dalot inverts, being a right centre mid. Mount right wing like 2020/2021 season. I got there eventually. Let's try and construct that, shall we? So we've got Onana, Lindelof, Maguire, Varane. So you've got... I can't find Lindelof on my screen. Oh, he's literally right in front of me. So let's just go off that team that you were putting there. I like to look at the teams you guys are kind of crafting. I can't find Maguire. I'm struggling. Who's your left wing back in that system? Just out of interest. Or you're not playing a wing back, are you? Sorry, you're tucking them in. So you're going like this, I believe. Is that what you're going for, mate? Dark? Is that what you're going for? Something like that. Anyway, I quite like the idea of a 3-4-3 diamond shape. I think, again, it's about the positioning and the timing of movement, though, of your midfield diamond, and particularly the two wider central midfielders. They have to get forward. I agree, players like Ruben Dias and Kyle Walker aren't elite on the ball, but their deficiencies are covered up by having elite technical players around them. Yeah, that's a very good point. I think going back to Raphael Varane, you can mask it. You can mask it. As long as the players around you are technical enough. The problem that United sometimes have is you've got Raphael Varane who needs to be masked a little bit. You've got Casemiro who also needs to be masked a little bit. And Wan-Bissaka also on that side a lot of the time as well, who also needs to be masked a little bit. So yeah, I think that's one of the problems that United have. I used to say that we can win this 2-0, but now I don't know what to expect. Let's do a poll. And get your thoughts in terms of prediction. So we're going to go United win. I'm going to type United for all of them just because it's quicker to type because it's a shorter word. United win, draw, United lose. Yeah, Diaz's ball question is still really good. Kyle Walker is also really good on the ball, but they are certainly not quite the level of those around them. So let's start the poll, and you guys can let me know what you think while we talk about this. 1 second, just waiting for chat to load. So Zach's saying, what about a 3-box-3 instead of a diamond? And he's going to move Dalot right wing back and mount at Ram. So we're going to go, Dalot's now providing the width. And we're going to go a little bit more like this. I assume that's what you mean. Was that Zach saying that? Yeah, Zach, I assume that's what you mean. I quite like the idea of this shape. We've got Sport Gang saying something similar, but with Varane, Lindelof and Dalot as our back three. Amrabat and Kobe Mainoo as our double pivot. Bruno, Mount, Rashford, Anthony and Højlund. Icardi saying, dude, we pay Mertens €4 million annually. We're not paying for you to sit him on the bench. Well, have a word with the manager and tell him to start him. Demabai is not playing in the first 11. Cool story. Would you rather have Casemiro at centre back and Amrabat as a holding midfielder? Not particularly, I'll be honest. I think Maguire and Varane is probably the best bet at the moment. I think they actually I think those two actually profile quite nicely together, apart from a slight lack of mobility. I actually think apart from that, though, those two, Maguire and Varane, actually, I think they profile next to each other pretty nicely, in my opinion. But you guys might disagree, which is completely reasonable. Fair enough. More games, the likes of Hannibal, Pellistri, Garnacho and Højlund play together, the better they'll get and find new ways of breaking teams down with a base of Casemiro, Mount and Amrabat. That's the other thing, and it's the other reason that Ten Hag needs a little bit of time. In terms of his new signings, he's tried to construct a relatively new midfield by bringing Amrabat and Mason Mount into the side. They've started together twice. We can't expect them to gel in 2 games. You know, it takes so much time for players to gel. So we can't expect it after 2 games. The attack, Rasmus Højlund hasn't played with United's starting right winger in Anthony. What's he played with him once, if that even? So again, Onana hasn't played with his starting centre-back pairing very often at all, probably twice this season so far. So again, the problem's pretty obvious. It is too early to judge because the players haven't had time to gel. We haven't seen consistency in the starting 11. Players don't have those connections. If you look at Liverpool, for example, when they won the league the other year, their squad was fit for most of the season. So for a lot of the season, not all of it, but for a lot of the season, they had certainly a spine of 6 or 7 players, which played a lot of games together and really understood each other's games perfectly. It's quite similar to Arsenal last season. They didn't have many fitness concerns last year, so they were able to get an 11 together where, again, 6, 7 of them are playing most games, which really allow you to understand each other's game. It takes time to develop understanding. It's no different to any job in the workplace, you know, to get a chemistry with your colleagues and etc. You need time together, but particularly in football where you're so reliant on your teammates' movements and different patterns, it takes time. Manuel asking AJ, how do you think this inverted Amrabat is going? I did do a video on it this morning. If you are interested in watching it, that's kind of where I covered it. I think it's going okay. I think Amrabat is playing the role well. I just want to see him in midfield because I think he's so good there. Ten Hag also just hasn't been able to build a proper his squad yet. I agree. Yeah, I do agree. He's had 10 players brought in that are still at the club and half of those are not meant to be first teamers. I agree. Casemiro is unfit / very slow. Will it make sense to replace him with Hannibal? Hannibal plus Mount plus Amrabat should be tried, ? It's a reasonable idea. Manuel saying he'll watch that video straight after the stream. Thank you very much. Let me know if you enjoy it or what you think of it. It's really a problem with United's recruitment all the way back to David Moyes. No manager has gotten a fair shot at building their squad, in my opinion, because of a certain set of owners at the football club, which I shouldn't speak about because I'll get in trouble. I don't think Maguire's mobility disqualifies him from working at all, like some do, but him with Zaha and Mertens twisting him up worries me. That's a fair point, and I really like how you've come at that with quite a balanced point of view. I like that. Yeah, there's definitely certain games where Maguire's mobility doesn't get exposed. Perhaps this is a game where apologies. Perhaps this is a game where he might have problems. We don't really know. United have to do a better job cohesively as a defensive unit. They have to do a better job. There's just no protection for the defence in so many games. There has to be a better understanding of which players are being pulled into different positions. When we're counter-pressing, when we're sitting off into a mid-block, how do we transition between the two? How do we sit in a low block? All round defensively, it's not good enough. So, yeah, there's definitely a fear that someone like Maguire could get a bit caught out in a game like this. Absolutely. Thoughts on Redondo? Great young player that I am scouting this season. I have covered him briefly. Dude, Icardi isn't better than Haaland right now. You won't believe it, but you'll see it at the match tonight. You need to go get warming up, mate, soon. You need to get your pre-match meal in. You need to be ready. I don't want you getting a stitch halfway through. That'd be a nightmare. Is Anthony playing? Not a clue. I have no kind of inside knowledge of what the club is doing or anything like that, or decisions which are being made. I've got a feeling I think we'll see him. Whether he'll start or not is a different question. But I think he'll play. I do think he'll play. You guys can probably tell that I've been ill, by the way, because I am shattered doing this. Absolutely shattered. And struggling to get air in and breathe, which, you know, is quite problematic sometimes when you can't breathe. Breathing's quite handy. Tonight's result. So 71% of people have said United to win. So we might have started the stream with people being a little bit negative. But people, you know, overall, it seems like a confidence going into the game. Can we get some score predictions? I'm not going to be streaming for too much longer because I'm not feeling great. Mayday saying he thinks Rashford is getting dropped today. Do you mean like physically punched or taken out of the team? Icardi saying, as Galatasaray fans, we must transfer you. I wish you would make such analysis before every Galatasaray match. United fans don't value you enough. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, if Galatasaray do well enough in the competition, there will be more coverage of them. If they progress in the Champions League, if they do well, I will cover them. Don't you worry, my man. But thank you very much for the kind words. VK saying, my team would be Dalot, Varane, Lindelof as the back three. Mount, Bruno, Casemiro, Eriksen, Amrabat as a 5 with Martial and Højlund up top. Mayday saying taken out of the team as opposed to being punched. Fair enough. Just had to get clarification there. Exposed saying 3-1 United, Anthony, Erasmus and Garnacho. And I like that. Get your score predictions in the chat below because we aren't going to be streaming for too much longer. Because I'm feeling it. My chest hurts. Oh, I'm good though. I'm good. I'm not going to die on stream. Yeah, get your score predictions in. Mayday saying 3-1 to United. Why do you think Ten Hag is so apprehensive about not keeping keeping Casemiro in the first 11? Time to try Amrabat or Kobe Minu soon. I think it's probably just due to recently a lack of options. Obviously, Amrabat's only just become available and he's having to cover at left back. Kobe Minu not available at all yet, so I'd imagine it is just a kind of a lack of other options thing. It'll be interesting to see when all the midfielders are fit, available, sharp, match sharp. Then it will be interesting to see. I'm seeing a 5-0 to Galatasaray prediction there. No offence, mate. I hope you're wrong, but that's just because I'm a United fan. I hope you enjoyed the game at least. 3-1 win to United, says Zach, with Højlund hat-trick and Zaha, the former player, getting a goal. Is Corey here? What was Corey's prediction? Is Corey still here or is he gone now? He said 2-1 actually, either way, didn't he? I remember now. 2-2, says VK. Did he speak about Martial as second striker? The stream got cut. No, I haven't spoke about it, but maybe that's something we could talk about in the future. Unfortunately for today, I'm not feeling very well. Like I said, I'm really short of breath, so maybe it's something we can cover another day. Is Amrabat and Kobe Minu better than Casemiro and Amrabat? We'll have to wait and see, really. We have to see Amrabat and Minu together before we can really assess anything. Icardi reckons Galatasaray to win it in the 98th minute with a Zaha winner. I'll remember you said that, and we'll see. We also had someone earlier saying about Hannibal being a big part in this team, so that's something else I got to remember. Maldorcan saying, I've been seeing the Bruno hatred online picking up a lot recently, but he's still our key player. The only deficiency in his game is he's not a ball carrier, which is in vogue today. Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable point. I think the other concern I would have is at times being a little bit too direct, a little bit too keen to get the ball forward. But I think he's still a key player. Manuel, I don't think we can drop Mount right now, unless there's a fitness issue maybe. But no, I would play Mount. I thought he was good at the weekend. I felt a 2-1 for every game for weeks. Still think we can win these games, but never been confident of a clean sheet or a blowout. 4-1 United, Rashford and Højlund at the double. That would be perfect. I think that would do the confidence of this team a lot of good. 98 minutes in a United game. Game ends at 91 if we are 0-0. True. I mean, Kobe Mainoo should be available in a couple of weeks. Then he should be slowly introduced as a DM instead of Casemiro. Prepare alternatives for all positions. Yeah, I absolutely agree that it's important to have options in every single position. We will cover a bit more on Kobe as he gets closer to full fitness. Because I think with him, it's also important that people don't expect too much. Because he's still a very young lad who's yet to really play properly for the first team. Man U fans saying, I will say we win 1-0. Manuel asking, do you not think Anthony will play? Just because he hasn't played first team in about a month, I think he probably starts on the bench. I think. Although I wouldn't be at all surprised if he starts either. But I think he probably starts on the bench and gets on, would be my guess. People say sack Ten Hag and then don't have anyone to replace him. It's stupid. Very good point. I've seen a few comments recently saying that Ten Hag should be sacked, which firstly I just disagree with completely, but also, yeah, if you're going to say that, offer me some alternatives, someone who can do a better job. You agree Anthony will start from the bench? Yeah, I think it's probably most likely, just with everything which has gone on recently. I think it kind of masks it a little bit. I think it's what the club will try to do. Sacking Ten Hag and bringing in someone under the Glazers would be pointless. It's totally self-sabotaging. I think that's what we're now realising as a fan base, more than ever. I think we all knew it anyway. But more than ever as a fan base, that if we sack a manager, we're just going to get the same thing with the next manager. Perhaps a different style or a different philosophy, but it's going to be the same thing still. Because the Glazers are still in charge. We have a late minute donation from Samuel with a £1 donation. Thank you very much, my friend. Everyone spam love hearts, especially if you've got the green love hearts. Spam green love hearts for Samuel. Greatly, greatly appreciate that donation. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's good to see you guys getting the love hearts in there. The brilliant community that we are, showing all the love and support. Lovely stuff. Thank you very much. I'm getting messages come through about the new FIFA having an update. I didn't ask. That's rude, isn't it? Any random, we're going to go on a little tangent here before I finish the stream. Does anyone play the new EAFC, or do we have any Football Manager players in here? Let me know what you think. Ali with the $4.99 saying, awesome stream as usual, AJ. Thank you, and for the community for a great chat. Have to go to work now. We'll catch you in the next stream. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you, as always, for your support. Again, everyone spam thank you, spam love hearts, clapping emojis in the chat to say thank you to Ali. He's an absolute legend. Have a good day at work, my man. I think I'll next be streaming probably Thursday, if not Friday. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. Do you follow any United YouTube channels? Not massively. I don't actually watch that much football content on YouTube because I do so much myself. I watch the likes of Atlantis Football, Tifo IRL, Football Made Simple. They're the ones I watch. Playing EAFC right now while watching you. AJ checking if Sancho lurks his chat. Well, I just wanted to see if he wants to get involved in some pro clubs or something, you know. I'm looking for some pro clubs teammates. Anyone interested? That's a genuine thing, by the way. Would anyone actually be interested in that at some point? Like, it's completely unrelated to football analysis, anything like that. I've been tempted to set up some sort of like gaming thing where maybe we have a Discord chat, which you guys could message me, and then I could invite you to like play pro clubs or football manager, something like that. Let me know if anyone would be interested. It's a bit of a niche thing. It's a bit random. A lot of you probably wouldn't care, but maybe it's something fun we could do at some point. Let me know if any of you would be interested. I'm a football manager player, currently doing a youth-only save in FM23 as FC Isle of Man, trying to get them promoted to the Premier League. Sounds like quite a task. I'm not very good at football manager, I'll be honest. Stuart Duncan, liking the idea of pro clubs. Like I said, I might make a Discord at some point, and just anyone which wants to join can join and just play some pro clubs just for something different to do, really. Like I said, it will not interest a lot of you because it's nothing to do with tactics or anything like that, but it might just be a bit of fun. People saying bring De Zerbi, he wouldn't last 2 seconds because there's more pressure in the way he wants to play. We don't have the players. I completely agree. I think succeeding at Brighton is very different to succeeding at Manchester United. I think the environment is very, very different, and the players. Muhammad Ali saying, sorry, I'm late. No worries, my friend. We are just about to wrap up, so I apologise you have missed the stream. But there's plenty of opportunities for future streams. You can watch this stream back. Also, it will stay on the channel. I think my next stream will probably be Thursday or Friday, so I'll catch you in the next stream. But no need to apologise, my man. You can watch it back if you want. Samuel with another £1 donation. Thank you very much. We're up to about £20 worth of donations for this stream, which I do greatly appreciate. Kevin's saying, surprised you don't have a Discord server yet. Make one. I think people will love it. I've also considered setting up a Patreon as well, where we analyse matches. Of course, it would be a small fee per month, but we analyse matches way more in depth. I'm talking, you guys join the chat, even if it's only 10 of us, and we really break down games with video footage of everything. We can literally kind of watch football or watch the match literally from second 1 till the 90th minute. This Salim guy in chat, just thought I'd say, how do I do this? See you later, mate. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Weird guy. But yeah, I have considered a Discord so we can do things, but also a Patreon so we can break down matches together where we haven't got to worry about copyright. We can watch a game from the first minute to the 90th, cover every little thing, use Once Video Analyzer Pro to go through it all. So yeah, it could get nasty with De Zerbi as well because he wouldn't change his philosophy even if we got smashed. Yeah, I don't think that would be a great fit, personally. VK with another donation, which takes us over to £20 for the stream now. Thank you very much for the donation. My second ever donation from Thailand. Thank you very much. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Again, if everyone could spam some love hearts real quick before we close the stream, that would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate every single one of you which has got involved today. If you could quickly like the stream before you leave, that would be greatly appreciated. But I appreciate everyone which has tuned in. Those of you which have sat there silently and watched. I know there's some of you who haven't said a word or haven't voted, and that's okay. Next time, say a word and vote, but it's okay. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys which have been involved in chat. We've had a good vibe today. A good stream. First time in a couple of weeks that we've been speaking. So yeah, it's been a good stream. Thank you to everyone who's liked. Thank you to everyone who has asked questions, voted, donated, everything. Thank you very much. Just quickly, this last question. What are your thoughts on Casemiro at centre-back? Because Samuel did donate, so I will quickly answer this question. I think it would all be about getting a right partner alongside him, because we know he's not the most athletic, but also he has this obsession with pushing forward at every opportunity. So it would be about getting the right partner alongside him, but I think it's something we could see at some point as he continues to age. I think it could be something that we see in his career. What are your thoughts on Roger Schmidt? I need to do more research on it, although Benfica played great football, particularly last season, so got to be a pretty decent manager. But yeah. Do you think it's better to try Evans instead of Lindelof? Personally, I'd go for Maguire. Anyway, I am going to wrap the stream up there. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, thank you to everyone which has contributed, either with a comment, a like, a vote, super chat in particular, thank you very much. But everyone who supported the stream tonight, I hope you enjoyed the game. Hopefully United win. Fingers crossed, because my channel needs a United win, I'll be honest, to cover. The views do much better. Tomorrow morning, we will be covering the game regardless of the result and the performance. So we will be analysing the game and breaking that down. So make sure you turn notifications on for that. The day after that, we should be covering PSG versus Newcastle. Providing it's a good game and we get a winner in that match, I should be covering that. We've also got a Brentford tactical preview coming up this week. We've got a United Academy graduate, which we need to look at because I think he's a really good young talent. We've got... What else we got? Something else. We've got loads of content planned. So like, subscribe, get notifications on so you know when I upload. But apart from that, thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.